Previously on Libel the Bible.
Miriam dies.
Aaron dies.
The Israelites complain of thirst.
Moses bungles Yahweh's instructions about getting water from a stone and is denied entry to the promised land.
Tired of listening to the Israelites complain about everything, like starving and dying of thirst, Yahweh places thousands of snakes in their midst to teach them a lesson in obedience.
The Israelites start wilding and take over Jazer and Bashan.
And now, episode 38 of Libel the Bible.
Rusty, do you know why you're here?
I mean, it's not your company.
Yo, I hit record, man.
What's going on? My name is Rusty.
This is Scott. Welcome to the Libel the Bible. Russ, man, we need to take care of some housekeeping business before we do anything.
Housekeeping?
Well, I mean, that's the term you use for, like, taking care of the corporate side of things,
Oh, interesting.
We're quickly...
I didn't realize we were going to do that on air. All right.
Well,
I like it.
I didn't want to, but, October's fast approaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call in the corporate world Q4.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to really deal with upper management. I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're going to start that corporate bullshit in the fourth quarter about reviewing people and, like, rating people and everything. And I got to tell you, first as the manager,
mm-hmm.
and kind of as your friend,
mm-hmm.
you got to shape up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, your review's not looking good if it's,
What's going on?
First of all, I mean, when was the last time I saw you, man? You grew a beard since the last time I saw you. That's how long ago it was.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long. 10 days, maybe?
I really don't know.
We had like 4 episodes in the bank.
Did we?
We released an episode
yeah,
today.
Yeah, we're 7 days from overdrafting on that fucking bank account.
Oh,
because you're down to the wire, man.
All right, so we're recording right now.
Yeah.
This will be put out 7 days from today.
Right.
And between today and then, we're going to record at least one more episode.
At least one we have to,
Yeah, so what's the problem?
All right, listen, man. It's just you're nonchalant. You're calling in late. You're calling in sick. You're calling in dead. And all this
what
stuff.
it really sounds like is you don't like. It's not so much my work performance; it's my attitude that you have a problem with.
When you show up, you tend to do a good job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say excellence. Rusty's an excellent employee when he shows up.
Right.
That doesn't look good either,
right?
Man,
So you have a problem with my absenteeism.
Your absenteeism, you're nonchalant on the editing, the uploading.
Well, I feel like I have a little bit of leverage.
Oh, do you?
I mean, look.
It's not. Well, there's no leverage. When do you leverage against what?
Well, you're giving me my performance review,
no,
right?
This is your pre-performance review, so I don't have to give you a bad performance review.
Right. Well, but I'm assuming the perform... What are the punishment? Demerits? If I fuck up, I'll get a demerit. If I fuck up again, I'll have 5 demerits.
I guess it'd be like progressive discipline.
10 demerits, and you give me a super demerit. If I get 100 super demerits, I get an ultra demerit.
I think you're on course for one of those. But yeah.
So I don't know. Like, it's been like a hectic time of year,
Mm-hmm.
So that. So I haven't really had like a lot of time to delve in detail about like the Bible reading. So like I have been reading the Bible, but sometimes I don't have like the time to like really sit down and like take notes and like really like analyze it. Like shit's a little like hectic at this time of year. And I mean, like, the thrill of, like, Exodus has worn off. The thrill of, like, Genesis has worn off. Leviticus left, like, a little bit of a bad taste in the mouth. But, I mean, like, when I objectively look at it, numbers is all right. Like, today, there's
I was gonna
there's
interrupt you
good
and
shit
say,
going on.
because we're having a dialogue here to improve, both you and me and the show.
Sure.
And
sure.
I was going to say, listen, man, numbers is going to pick up. I know we've had a rough stretch lately, but I want you to want to work here, man.
Yeah. All right.
And that's
all right. Well, I'm glad that you brought, my deficiencies to my attention.
That was a deficiency. deficiencies, I would be like, yo, what was that editing shit you did that I had to correct you on last night? Rusty took all the tracks and somehow overlapped them instead of putting them one after the other.
That's not true. I overlapped our intro music. So, like, if our intro music is, like, 15 seconds long, like, the first 15 seconds of the actual show opening.
And the previously on.
No, the previously
on. It was the
on.
previously on? The
No.
first 15 seconds of our talking and the music.
It wasn't that at
Or maybe
all.
not the music.
It wasn't.
No, it was
just
two
the
dialogues on top of each
The
other.
intro music, I didn't space it out. I
Two
didn't.
dialogues on top of each other, man.
It was the intro music and the show opening, the regular show opening. Scott's back to opening his wine on the air.
Well,
I thought you did away with that because of me. I thought because I make fun of it all the time, as you
like
said.
you're doing right now. Like
I'm just saying, for anybody listening, we're on episode 38. Go listen to the first 3 minutes of every single episode, and you tell me if I make fun of Scott for opening his wine, because he says he stopped doing it because I was making fun of him. So let us know.
Hey, listen, man.
Comment down below.
This is about you today, all right? It's not about me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need you to I need to know. You had mentioned like when I got upset that you were criticizing me, you said, Scott, I just want to make the show a better show.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
You know the first step to making a good show?
Tell me.
Showing up for the show.
No,
All right.
here. I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. All right.
I mean, this is episode 38. Have we missed a single week of production?
Yeah. No. No.
I mean,
we did one, but we had to throw out
one
that highlight
because I
episode.
was in Albuquerque, and
I
we
got
were
COVID.
and
I got
we were
COVID.
scheduled to meet, but you're the one that couldn't make it. Yeah. Have I ever not made it when I had to make it?
Shit. Listen, just because you make it doesn't mean it's not like
Doesn't mean it doesn't
like-
give you stress.
yeah, it's like the
Thinking
last
if
second,
I'm
like-
gonna make it.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Exactly. So I said, Rusty.
So your stress issues are my problem now.
when you're the one causing the stress, yes.
By showing up all the time
But like at the last minute.
at the last minute.
I'm pouring wine on the air.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a. Wait. I can't talk because I'm 6 inches from the mic. It's a Francis Ford Coppola director's cut, Cabernet Cinema. If anyone who drinks like Francis Ford Coppola, the one that you.
He's got a good vineyard.
He does. I find that the like his regular Cabernet is better than like his director's cut Cabernet.
Yeah.
I tend to find like because I don't have an advanced tongue. Maybe somebody that hasn't that's a wine snob would differ, but I don't know.
Speaking of advanced tongues, I heard someone say that "Hungry Like the Wolf" by Duran Duran is about cunnilingus.
Really?
Yeah. So everybody out there in the audience, I don't know, go look at the lyrics. I looked at the lyrics. I don't think so. But someone told me like 100%.
You want to pause for like 3 minutes and listen to it and then come back and review it?
No, I don't want to listen to the song. I mean, I could pull up the lyrics. You want me to pull up the lyrics to "Hungry Like the Wolf"?
I don't really care. I mean, that's something we can look into, but
Yeah. But
We'll-
you guys out there in the audience,
we'll
you can
fact check
pause us, and go take a look at the lyrics.
smash the comment button below.
Yeah. Like and subscribe.
So when they say smash the like button, because I use the word smash in a different way.
Like fucking.
Right.
Like you like to smash.
So like people are smashing
So you hit
their
it with your
keyboard.
penis.
Yeah.
Well, look, this younger generation today, they have grown up with internet porn. We grew up. Do you remember what we grew up with, Scott?
Finding old nudie magazines like under someone's bed. Or
Well, that, like you're a creepy friend's like dad or something.
yeah,
had,
look
like,
what I found.
yeah. I had a friend. You've met him. We went to the Pink Floyd concert with him. He lives in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
His parents had a bathroom where the wallpaper was like old, like 70s, like Playboy models.
Seriously?
Yeah, in their house.
Like I've seen, I've been to a lot of hipster bars, like in Bushwick and Williamsburg now. Like that's how they plaster their bathrooms. They're like
Yes, and this middle-aged couple in the early 80s of Philadelphia had this in their, like, well, he was a musician, he was a drummer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So who knows what kind of swinging, like, shit they had going on.
So they actually put that wallpaper up?
Yeah, no, it was a house they bought, and it was like...
I thought they bought it with that.
No. And so what we grew up with, so like Scott said, definitely magazines, but really what we grew up with was that, like, not the pixelated, that, like, like the Cinemax, but
scrambled.
Like it was all scrambled, right? So you had to like watch it like a hawk for like 30 minutes to catch like a glimpse of like, an areola if you were lucky.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, here we go. And when it was in black and white, like to get the color was really like hitting the jackpot.
Yeah. So kids today, they have grown up with like everything available to them at the touch of their fingertips. So when they like smash, like the keyboard, I wouldn't be shocked if they are smashing the keyboard.
Nice, yeah. All right. Remember Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool?
Yes, of course. I mean, right. That's like Gen X's, that's Gen X's version of Marilyn Monroe, I guess, like on the subway grate, like those iconic, like, yeah. So, I mean, so we're back. We haven't talked about current events or anything. Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, the Queen died.
Yeah, the Queen died. When was it? Like,
a couple days ago.
Yeah, like 3-4 days ago, that bitch died.
Yikes.
I mean, come on. Everybody was like all like shocked. Like the woman was 96 years old.
John Oliver's last week tonight.
Yeah.
He made that joke, shockingly, a 96-year-old woman died of natural causes. Of course. It's still sad.
It's
it's not sad for me.
I got to tell you, it's the obvious joke to make because everybody is so like, she's 96 years old.
My favorite joke was the meme that went around with 73-year-old man finally gets a job and it's Prince Charles.
Yeah, he's been, I can't tell if he's wanted her to die, if he wanted to be king, because it's almost easier not to be king.
Oh, it's better to be like the second-hand guy. Like you reap
There's
all the
no
benefits.
Pressure, right?
Pressure.
You don't have to meet with the prime minister. Yeah, you don't take all the heat.
Maybe he's a bumbling idiot. Like he spent like the last 40 years trying to kill her. Like he just fucks it up all the time.
I think he is a bumbling idiot.
That's his mother.
Wait,
right?
a bumbling or a bungoling? Bungoling, right? Not bumble.
I think I say it like bumbling, like bumblebeing, bumbling. But it's probably bungling.
All right, well, comment down below if you guys know out there in the audience.
The shit out of that
Is
button.
it bungling or bumbling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's current events. Ukraine apparently sustained a counteroffensive that
Ukraine
that brought back some land.
Ukraine is game to you?
Joke.
I smash your game.
No, when you say smash the game.
So my dad was giving me a little insight into some of the logistical issues. So my dad was in the Soviet Army, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he said that there's a huge difference between Western armies and what the Soviet Army was like. And Ukraine, coming into this war, was very much like a Soviet-style army because it came out of the Soviet system. But over the course of this war, they've changed to a more Western style. And here's what that means. In a Western military, you have like your platoon, and the person in charge of the platoon is a sergeant. So when you're like in the shit, you're taking orders from like your platoon sergeant. The platoon sergeant takes his orders from the lieutenant, the platoon lieutenant.
Who's always depicted as a bungling idiot.
Right. Well, because lieutenants are just like the sergeants are like enlisted men who have experience, right? Like the lieutenants are like the kids that have just like come out of like West Point or whatever, they don't have no military experience. It's like all theory to them. It's like all classroom shit. So the lieutenant is there, the sergeant is there, and then the soldiers are there. Then you've got like whatever, your majors, your captains, your colonels, but they're not with the
Right.
fighting men. They're like out like in the headquarters or whatever. In the Soviet style system, like you have all those people still, but commands apparently come from like HQ. And HQ is really like whoever's in charge of traditionally the Communist Party, because I'm talking about Soviet era.
Right,
Now
right.
it's not the Communist Party anymore. Now it's just whatever Putin's party is. So my dad was saying in the Soviet system, it can get very complicated because when you're out in the field and you're like facing action, commands aren't coming from people on the ground. So shit's not coming to you quick. Like it takes time, and the people who are giving you the orders, they don't know what's happening logistically always. So that's like a big problem for the Russian army. Now, Ukraine, they've adopted a more Western approach. This is what my dad is telling me.
Right.
This is based on like, I guess like he's been listening to like some podcasts from like experts, military experts about like what's going on over there. He watches like some Ukrainian TV and
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
How old is your dad?
He is 75.
All right, my father's 79, and to this day, I got to explain to him what a podcast is. No matter how many times I talk about the fact that I have a podcast.
Yeah.
It's a little
Well,
strange.
what's to explain? It's radio on demand is what it is. It's like,
I mean, my dad...
or it's like on demand TV, but instead of video, it's audio.
Oh, now I get it. It's like Netflix for the ears.
Yeah, it's like when he stays at a hotel and he like orders porn. It's like the porn that he orders, but like only like through the ears. That's it.
All right. Sorry, so your dad was saying.
So that's it. So we were talking about Ukraine, and basically, my understanding is there was some counterintelligence shit going on where the Ukrainians made the Russian intelligence community believe that they were going to invade like some key city in the south of Ukraine that Russia has occupied. And Russia moved like their most elite like units to that area. And while they were in the process of moving to that area, the Ukrainians started bombing like the bridges, and they basically separated this unit into two parts because they bombed out the bridges, and now one part of it is like isolated. The other part has nowhere to go, but the Ukrainians had no intention of going to this place anyway. And while they were bombing out the bridges, trapping the elite Russian units in the southern part of Ukraine, the Ukrainian army was taking over some shit like in the northern part of Ukraine.
They Schwarzkopfed them.
So this is like some American like intelligence shit, you know what I mean? Obviously America's helping them with not only weapons, but obviously with like all that spy shit too and strategy.
They did that in Desert Storm, right? Schwarzkopf led Saddam Hussein to believe that they were attacking over here when they actually came from over here.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's possible, but yeah, it sounds like a military strategy.
Schwarzkopf's on the payroll of the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, but then Baghdad Bob was like, "Do not worry. We are not under attack.
they're miles and miles away.
We will be able to withstand any heavy bombing."
Yeah.
You know that guy's alive.
Is he?
Yeah, I just recently looked up Baghdad Bob. For those that don't know, after 9/11, America invades Iraq in 2003, and one of the most famous like figures of that war was like, I guess he was their TV, like he was
the press secretary.
He was like the spokesman for the army. He would get on TV talking about how like they're completely in control Iraq. And while he's talking from a bunker, like you just hear like the shelling, and literally his bunker is like shaking from American bombs, which by the way were called bunker busters. Because they would burrow meters into the ground before exploding. We had one bomb that could turn a corner. You remember that bomb? Like it could like go into like an empty warehouse, turn a corner. Well, not empty, but you know what I mean. Like go into a warehouse, turn a corner, and then explode.
I saw I remember a political cartoon back from.
But we
back in
can't
the
solve
day.
homelessness. Can you imagine if we funneled that much money into like solving any problem that we have?
That's just crazy talk.
You know, like killing people, we'll funnel as much money as we can into that shit.
And wait. You got brown people over there? We'll funnel our best weapons over there. Yeah, crazy, man. There was a political cartoon I saw many years ago. It was like Saddam Hussein in the house, and it was just like a missile coming at him, and then it stopped at his door, and like knocked on the door. When he looked through the people, it had like flowers in its hand, and when he opened the door, the bomb hit him in the face.
I mean, that's great. That's the kind of shit that we built.
Yeah,
we totally were able to build that.
Good stuff.
But I mean, listen, when you spend like fucking an accumulated trillions of dollars on war, you're gonna invent some fucking goodies.
George Carlin once said, "You know why we're good at war? We've got a lot of practice."
Yeah. That guy was ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was. Before we get into numbers, I want to actually segue into something religious that was kind of disturbing to me. I was out in the Hamptons, hobnobbing with all them people out there again, and this woman that I've known for all intents and purposes my entire life, good friend of the family, good friend of the parents, she started kind of talking crazy. She started talking about, I don't know, I mean, don't get me wrong, like there's 4 bottles of wine in. She starts talking about like, I got guns. I'm going to protect what I got. I'm going to protect what's mine. They're coming for my stuff. And it was like, wait, what?
Who's they?
She's right. So, and my whole life, she was, and even after this conversation, I think she's so sweet. I think she's just derailed. She's probably in her 70s at this point. And was like, who's coming for your stuff? They. It was always they. Yeah. She never came out and said who they are. But she started talking like every Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Newsmax talk point of how they're coming for our way of life. And I'm like, wait, do you think people are coming to your neighborhood to like physically like take your house? They would if they could, if we let them. Okay, and it just went on and on. I was like, okay, all right. And then
she lives in Queens?
No, she's out in Long Island in like Suffolk County, like far removed from like the reality we know. You know what I mean?
In Suffolk?
I don't. I'm going to say. Right. I'm going to say at least Islip. I'm not really familiar with anything between Queens and the Hamptons. Like everything, it's drive over country for me.
Lincoln, not Lakeland.
Right.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because you're saying how she's afraid that they're coming for her way of life, and I'm just wondering, like, if you can elaborate on what is her way of life. Like, what will they be taking away?
They're not rich, but they're well off.
Okay, so someone is coming to take her home?
That's what I was trying to get specific.
Someone is coming to take her SUV.
I don't know.
Marshalls, they're going to close down. I don't understand.
When I started trying to pin her down like that, she basically pivoted into not so much her physical items, but her way of life. Mm-hmm. Like they're going to change everything.
What? No more bagels? Like what is?
I don't know. I could not get to the root of her fear. And then
I know what it is.
It got weird. It got worse as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
you know what her way of life is?
Good.
Being surrounded by white people.
Yes, of course. She didn't come out and say it, but that's what it was. What bothered me even worse was all of a sudden she started talking about God and heaven. I was like, and I was like, oh, you wouldn't like my podcast then? And so I told her what it was. She's like, no. I was like, listen, I'm not beating up on your religion right now. I'm just beating up on the Old Testament because it's batshit crazy, and I'm sorry. I will never apologize for saying that. And she was like, she wouldn't really comment on the Old Testament
because she probably never fucking read the Old Testament.
Wait, no, it gets better.
Okay,
probably not the Old Testament, but then she reveals to me she's a born again Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, so I don't know how recently this happened. Like I said, 4 bottles in, 2:00 in the morning. I'm not really, we're not getting that into it at that point.
I hate that term.
What?
Born again Christian.
Okay, well, she was, I hate to say this, she sounded like a fanatic cult member.
Okay, well.
And I'm going to say this.
She's a born-again Christian.
I'm going to say this. Every single born-again Christian I have ever met in my life has sounded like that. Like, it's crazy how they sound. Basically, she said, if you're not a Christian, you're not going to hell. You're not. So that was the big one. And no logic work, no anything. But what disturbed me was I have discovered, and I'm sorry if I'm insulting any born-again Christians, it seems like every born-again Christian I've ever met has had something really traumatic happen in their lives. Or they were addicted to something whether it's alcohol, drugs, pornography, whatever they might be cutting. It's almost like whatever they were addicted to, they traded in for Christ. And now I'm wondering, this is a woman I've known my whole life, and I'm actually now concerned, like, what was her trauma? What was her addiction? Because I've never seen, air quotes, a normal person, like, turn to being a born-again Christian.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering now, I'm like, did I miss, like, something, like, traumatic in her life? And
I mean, if you had a bet on it, like, if you had to place odds, being that she's a woman, I'd say at the top of the list is probably, like, sexual abuse. I'd say that's probably like at the top of the list.
She recently had a breast cancer diagnosis.
Okay.
Wait. At stage 0, treatment's going very well, thankfully, and she's fine. She's fine.
But she was a born again before
I
that.
don't know when. That's why the next time I speak to her, when I'm not, inebriated, I'm gonna have to ask her, like, when did this happen?
Yeah. Well.
So yeah, it's just
She sounds racist. She sounds scared. And really what you should have told her is she shouldn't really be all that concerned because given her age, like, there's not much time left for anyone to change anything about her lifestyle.
yeah, don't live in fear, buddy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of time. Like, enjoy the time you have left. They're not going to get to you by the time you croak.
Yeah, they might get to, like, the east end of Nassau.
Right.
Like, they might get to the Suffolk border by
Right.
the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're coming from my
It's
stuff.
just, I don't know.
They're not coming for your hamburgers, man.
I don't
Knock
know
it
what
off.
to say. Well, the Israelites are coming for the Canaanites.
That is true. Now, what if she's right? Like 10,000 years from now, they're gonna read the book of, like, the conversation we had, and they're like, "Oh, she was right. They did come for her stuff."
Well, maybe if you show me a talking donkey in today's world, I might be concerned.
I've met a lot of talking asses, man.
Until then, all right. So let's get into numbers. We left off. The Israelites have started basically taking over certain, like, territories, right?
Yeah, I know we do the previously on, but it wasn't until I listened to In Depth, the episode last night, to update the website.
Mm-hmm.
They invaded, like, 4 different places.
Yeah.
They hit the Canaanites. By the way, clever episode name. You probably forgot what it was, even though you came up with it.
I know.
The Bashanites.
Those who Canaanite preach.
So they basically, and the last 3 places they invaded, they gave, like, 1 sentence to. Like, we're not supposed to know that you just killed, like, 1 million people.
I noticed that I feel like the people who wrote the Bible, like, they get to the point where, like, they create these fantastical stories, and then, like, they get bored of writing it, and they finish off with, like, a sentence, but that sentence could have been, like, an entire, like, chapter on its own, because, like, 1 million things could have taken place.
Like when they mentioned the book of the wars of the Lord.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Or the Nephilim. It's like, just in passing, they mention shit that's like, whoa.
Yeah. So the Israelites are moving.
The Israelites are
They're
moving.
taking ground.
All right, they're no longer at the base of Sinai.
They're not taking prisoners either. They're, like, literally killing everybody.
Yahweh is constantly fucking with them. If it's not the fucking, like, fire or opening up the earth to swallow them, it's snakes. Yeah.
At this point, maybe we can't blame the Israelites for their actions.
Yeah,
Like,
we keep going back and forth on this.
Yeah, the repercussions are pretty bad, like, if you don't listen to them.
All right, so let's get into Numbers 22.
Let's do it.
Balak summons Balaam to curse Israel. Now, right off the bat, I have a big problem.
I do too, and I think we probably have the same problem.
What's the problem?
Too many B's in this
Not just
chapter.
B's, B-A, right? Baal, Ak, Baal, and it's like, why do the names have to be so goddamn
and
fucking
Balaam
similar?
is the son of Beor.
That I don't even give a shit about. But the 2 main characters that we have to focus on are Balak and Balaam. And it's like their names are so goddamn similar. Like, I had to keep going back to see, like, which one is which.
Maybe the author of this chapter was famously used the word "letter B" all the time, like Mike Brady in the Brady Bunch movie.
Right.
Every single thing he architect looked just like his house.
Right. And the worst part is there's probably unlike the Brady Bunch, that house actually does exist. Balak and Balaam probably never even existed.
Easy guy, man. Don't shit on the dead.
Balak, right? He's the leader of whatever. Who's he the leader of? Son of Zippor, right? And he's whatever.
He's the next territory over.
Yeah, whatever the territory is. So any reasonable ruler, he sees what the Israelites have done to his neighboring territories.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, they're gonna come here next. So he goes to summon, or he has people summon this guy named Balaam, who's somewhere else. He's away, maybe in modern day Iraq, or wherever modern day Iraq is, somewhere like that. He goes to summon for this guy, but it's not explained why or what this guy's skill set is.
We find out though.
Yeah, well, apparently this guy's what? An oracle?
He's kind of like the Moses and Aaron of wherever the fuck he's from.
But from who? So now we're gonna get into him getting directions from Yahweh later in this chapter. But before this, what was he doing?
Well, he said he's sending messengers to Balaam because whomever you bless is blessed and whomever you curse is cursed.
Right.
So he's got a reputation of being a prophet, an oracle, or maybe a hand of God.
Right. All right. So in Numbers 22, verse 6, Balak says to Balaam, or it's a message. He doesn't say it directly to him because he sends messengers. Yeah. He says, come now, curse this people for me, since they are stronger than I. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them from the land. For I know that whomever you bless is blessed, and whomever you curse is cursed.
So if you get this guy's blessing, man, that bodes well for you. So the messengers get there, and the guy's like, what? You know what? Spend the night. I'm going to talk to God tonight. I'll talk to you in the morning. And the first thing God says to Balaam, because apparently this is the same God, because he calls him the Lord, and it's spelled with that weird font.
Okay.
He's actually in communication with God, Yahweh, Lord, whatever. And God asks him, who are these people with you? Which just reinforces that this guy he's not all-knowing. So he tells him who they are, and he says, you shall not go with them because the Israelites are the blessed people. Do not go back to tell Balak that you're going to curse these people because they're blessed.
Yeah, in Numbers 22, verse 12, God said to Balaam, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the officials of Balak, go to your own land, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you.
Yeah, you had your audience, now get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So the messengers go back to Balak, and they don't really quite tell the truth. They didn't pass that message along. They said he refused to come with us.
Right.
They left out the part that he spoke to God. How do you leave out that part?
Right.
So what's he do? He goes, you messengers suck. Let me bring up my first string messengers. And he sends new messengers out with the same request.
But Balaam replied to the servants of Balak, although Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the command of the Lord my God. In that weird font, the Lord is spelled.
Right. Basically saying, no matter how much money you give me, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what Yahweh said. Right. Well, he doesn't refer to him as Yahweh.
So then he's like, you guys should spend the night. Right? And let me talk to God. So, Numbers 22, verse 20, that night God came to Balaam and said to him, if the men have come to summon you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do. So Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the officials of Moab.
So do you think Yahweh's like, fuck, another group of stiff-necked people? I said no. I meant no. Like, why are you bothering me again?
You know what it is? I'm starting to think maybe these people aren't stiff-necked. Maybe they're just like logical. And like, because everything Yahweh says flies in the face of convention and reason and logic.
And you know what? You can't take no for an answer here. Because if you take no for an answer, you're going to get invaded and destroyed. So you got to ask a second time, I guess.
No, really. Like, I don't know what Yahweh's like. He's angry over nothing here. So that leads us to Balaam, the donkey, and the angel. And I got to tell you, no one looks good here. Only the donkey. The donkey's the only one that is reasonable. All right, so Numbers 22, verse 22. God's anger. This is right. I
didn't get this either. I had to read it twice.
So I'm sorry, because to the audience. So I read Numbers 22, verse 20 to you. So Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the officials of Moab. The very next line in the Bible, God's anger was kindled because he was going, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the road as his adversary.
So,
now he was riding on the donkey, and his two servants were with him. All right, so correct me if I'm wrong. Yahweh tells Balaam, yo, go back with these people to Moab. And then when you get to Moab, like, I'm going to, like, speak through you, and, like, you can tell, like, Balaam or whatever, that fucking guy's name is Balak, what the situation is. And Balaam is like, no doubt. Next morning, he fucking gets on his donkey and takes off, but God is angry because he was going. I don't understand.
I just, while you were saying that, I came up with two possibilities.
Go ahead.
Either God, like, it's always, this guy always talks to God at night. So stay the night, I'm going to talk to God. God's probably so deep in the sauce at that point.
He forgets
that
what
he forgets.
says.
So maybe, what if God is an old drunk guy at the bar, but like he was like a gangster. Like people used to come to him. Like, you know, for all the decisions God made, he only talked to like two people all day. They came. By the time he's a drunk mobster.
What if God is a drunk mobster?
So the other thing I'm thinking is maybe who is it? Balaam? Balaam's the guy on the donkey. Maybe Balaam goes to God and he goes, yo, man, I think I should. Can I go hang out with my boys? Is it okay if I go with my boys? And God's like, oh yeah, it's okay. Yeah, go with your boys. Yeah, go with your boys and see what happens. Like it's like a yes from your wife or your girlfriend.
Yeah,
and it's not really yes.
Oh,
read the room.
Right.
Like no, fine. He said fine.
Yeah.
That's probably what he said. He probably said
no.
That's
yes. Pretty funny. But the problem is, he didn't solicit God. God told him directly, yo, this is what you should do.
Then I'm gonna lead back to he was a drunk mobster, not a.
I mean, that's more reasonable. Yeah. All right. So, Scott, why don't you tell us? So the angel, right? The angel of the Lord, whatever the fuck that means.
It's another one of his.
Goes into the road to act as the adversary for Balaam. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens next, Scott?
Okay, so now the donkey, who you said are very intelligent, very loyal.
Yes.
He sees this angel in whatever form with a sword.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a humanoid. It's, but it's any dude that has the balls to stand in the middle of the road with a sword while a guy on a donkey and two assistants are with him is either crazy or he's got like backup in the ditch next to the road, right? You pull over for the one guy and then you get jumped.
Mm-hmm.
So the donkey goes, fuck this, and he kind of veers off the road. Like, I'm going to go around this dude. So the donkey already is smarter than the three men combined.
Well, the real problem is... All right, go ahead.
Right, so now, Balaam, like, he strikes his donkey, which makes sense. You hit your donkey to get him back to where he's got to go. So the donkey gets back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're in a narrow passageway, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, did these walls come up out of nowhere?
Well, no. The angel of the Lord moved Like he moved into this particular place.
Oh, so they finally got to this place, and now the angel was there again. So he says like vineyards with walls on both sides. So I'm wondering if it's like actually walls of vines and stuff, not necessarily like a concrete wall. You know what I mean?
I hear you. It doesn't matter.
So now the donkey sees, and he starts to veer, and Balaam's sandaled foot brushes up against the wall, and I guess it hurts.
Yeah.
So he strikes the donkey again.
Right.
And again, I'm not mad at Balaam because, donkey's acting weird.
Right.
And we don't find out until later that this is his trusted donkey. But maybe his donkey's old. I don't know. So then the angel disappears. And the angel pops up somewhere else.
Then the angel, pops up somewhere else.
In a narrower place, like where he can't turn.
Right.
So now it's got sheer cliffs on both sides.
So that gets us to Numbers 22, verse 27. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he struck the donkey with his staff. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and it said to Balaam, "What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times?" Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have made a fool of me. I wish I had a sword in my hand. I would kill you right now." All right. Let's break this down before we move on.
Let's spend the rest of the night on this one.
All right. So, number one, any normal person's response to the donkey talking would be like, "What the fuck?" No. Balaam had an actual fucking response for him, right? "You've made a fool of me," he tells the donkey.
Wait. Do you think Balaam turned to his assistants and goes, "You heard that, right?" Like, I want clarification that I didn't fucking imagine that.
Bro, I don't know what's going on. All right, so Yahweh tells Balaam, "Go to Moab and confront like the king of Moab in person, and I'll speak through you." Balaam gets on his donkey and takes off for Moab, which pisses off Yahweh. So he sends an angel to intimidate who? Because it's apparent Balaam couldn't see the angel. Only the donkey was seeing this fucking angel.
At first, I was like, well, Balaam's kind of being a dick, but then the next section reveals, like, the donkey was acting completely in a wise fashion.
Right. And Balaam wasn't seeing any of it. So I don't understand what Yahweh is upset about, why he's speaking through the donkey. And so Balaam is everyone's acting rationally with the information that they have at hand,
right,
except for Yahweh. Yahweh is the only one acting irrationally. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. That's perfect how you said that. They made the best decisions with the information they had at the time.
The donkey sees this angel with a sword, so the donkey moves to avoid it. Balaam doesn't see the angel with the sword, and he's like, "What the fuck is my donkey doing? My shit's breaking down on me."
Yeah, you're making a fool out of me. You know why? Because maybe his assistants were like, "Hey, Balaam, let's take this crazy new donkey over here." And he goes, "Nah, I got check out my hot rod. I got my old donkey here." Yeah, so he's being made a fool of.
All right. At what point does Balaam do a double take and say, "Wait a second, did my donkey just ask me a question?"
Not once.
Yeah.
He never once goes, "Why is my donkey talking?"
So,
hey, wait.
Yeah.
Once your donkey talks to you, your first answer shouldn't be, "You're making a fool out of me."
Right.
First, like, "Holy shit, you talk?" And maybe you know something. Let's have a conversation about what happened.
That's what I'm saying.
So you know what? Maybe the donkey could always talk. And he liked being a beast of burden. Maybe you should have spoken earlier.
You're right. Listen, maybe this donkey always did talk, but now it's talking as Yahweh. Yahweh's manipulating the donkey now. So, after Balaam tells the donkey that he wants to kill him, Numbers 22, verse 30, but the donkey said to Balaam, Am I not your donkey, which you have ridden all your life to this day? Have I been in the habit of treating you this way? And he said, no. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his drawn sword in his hand, and he bowed down, falling on his face. The angel of the Lord said to him, why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? I have come out as an adversary, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away from me, surely just now I would have killed you and let it live.
Okay.
Please, because this is fucking so dumb.
Okay, so the donkey now saved the guy's life 3 different times.
According to the angel.
According to the angel.
So, but the angel is angry with this man for attacking the donkey because the donkey was avoiding the angel that Balaam couldn't see.
Right.
So he's upset with Balaam for doing something to the donkey that he couldn't possibly know the reasons for why the donkey was doing it.
Right. Yeah. So listen again. Yeah.
Why is he angry at Balaam?
When he goes, he opened Balaam's eyes so he could see the angel.
Yes.
Perhaps it wasn't literally somebody standing in the street with a sword. It was other signs and clues that the donkey saw, and Balaam's eyes weren't open to it. He opened his eyes and he saw the sign for what it was.
I saw the sign.
Maybe it wasn't an actual physical figure in the street with the donkey just got some intuition based off something. I don't know. Dude, I don't know. It's like,
no, I think this is like literal. I think they're literally telling the story of, I don't think this is metaphorical.
Oh, so now you're taking the Bible literally, huh? Is that what we're doing?
No, I'm saying the author's intent was not to make this metaphorical.
Why hide the angel from Balaam's sight? Just to fuck around?
So this is
maybe the angel didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Like he wasn't tuned to the right frequency. Like donkey eyes could see it. But
this is where our disconnect is right now, Scott.
Me and you, or me, you, and the Bible?
Reflexively, you're trying to justify and explain like what's going on, and I'm saying there is no justification. This is just straight up stupid shit that's going on right now, on many levels. Because one, they're upset with Balaam for something that he couldn't possibly know, and two, I don't understand what he did that angered Yahweh, because literally, as I said, we went from, hey, go to Moab, to him on his way to Moab and God not being happy about it. Here he says perverse.
Yeah, what was perverse?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Is it possible God sent like the lunkhead angel down on this mission? Seriously, he didn't tune his like transmitter to like human eyes. Like the donkey saw him, and he was like, "Why the fuck does the donkey keep turning?"
It's possible Yahweh didn't even send the angel, because it says God's anger was kindled because he was going, and the angel of the Lord took a stand in the road. So it's possible like this was just initiative taken by the angel.
You think the angel saw that his boss was upset and he's like, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to get some brownie points for this.
It's possible, but that still doesn't answer why was Yahweh angered. Can someone explain this to me?
No, nobody can fucking explain it.
Right. So now what you're going to have is you're going to have some bullshit like preacher come up with some bullshit like reason.
Wait. This is great. So when he said, if the donkey did not turn, I would have surely killed you and let the donkey live.
Yeah.
So Balaam goes, okay, so should I turn around and go home? And the angel's like, no, keep going. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I did not know that you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now, therefore, if it is displeasing to you, I will return home. The angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you to speak."
Yeah, I got that instruction before.
Which is exactly what was said. Right. Again, I don't understand what Balaam did.
I don't understand why Balaam's probably not. He's got to be saying, "How did I get dragged into this bullshit?"
All right. So, what happens next, Scott?
Yeah, I don't know. My notes are like really concise. Is that what it is? It's like short. To the point. He makes it to Balak, and then Balak's like, "Yo, dude, why didn't you come?" Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Yeah, listen, God said no, but I'm here now." And he says, "Okay, come with me. Like, come over here to the ridge,
Yeah.
and gaze upon the massing army of the Israelites." And Balaam says, "All right, build me 7 altars, give me 7 bulls and 7 rams, again with the number 7, man."
Yeah.
So he did as he said. Stay here beside your burnt offerings while I go aside. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me. So basically he's like, "Yo, chill here. I'm going to go talk to the God." Talk to God again. And God said,
All right. So I'm going to read this.
You ought to read her.
So Numbers 23, verse 7. This is God. I'm sorry. You keep saying God. It's Yahweh. Let's be very specific.
Wait, you're on 23:7?
Yep.
What about 23:4?
What about it? You just did that part.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, right.
So, in verse 7, Yahweh is now going to speak through Balaam to Balak. Remember, Balak wants to curse the Israelites. Then Balaam uttered his oracle, saying, "Balak has brought me from Aram, the king of Moab, from the eastern mountains. Come curse Jacob for me. Come denounce Israel. How can I curse whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce those whom the Lord has not denounced? For from the top of the crags I see him. From the hills I behold him. Here is a people living alone and not reckoning itself among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob or number the dust cloud of Israel? Let me die the death of the upright, and let my end be like his." All right. Now, besides the fact that this is all fucking nonsense, why is it written all like weird, like in the fucking Bible itself? Like, why is it written with this weird spacing? Like, is this a song?
I think maybe because they mentioned the word, he's an oracle right now. So perhaps he's not talking in his normal voice. He's almost like the entity's possessing him, and he's kind of talking with God's
What's an
voice
oracle?
and inflection. You know, I thought I knew until I read this.
Yeah.
I thought an oracle was just somebody who, maybe an oracle was someone who's like a vessel for another.
Yeah.
You know, another
Sure.
voice. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Another
Sure.
vocabulary for it. But
It's like when you want to boost your Wi-Fi signal, maybe he's an oracle is like a booster for like it picks up a voice and then it boosts that voice so people can hear it.
No, I think Oracle develops the software that runs on the booster.
All right.
Is Oracle still a software company?
I don't know. I was on my way here, and I was like, under 20 minutes, Scott like makes the Oracle joke about like, comparing the Oracle to like the software company.
Really?
Yeah.
Not predictable?
I mean, it's an obvious joke.
You could probably AI
it's
me
a
pretty
dad
easily,
joke.
right? Like if you fed enough information to AI, they'd nail me.
All right. So, then Balak, he's all like, "What the fuck, man? I asked you to fucking curse these people,
I thought
and
we
you're
were
blessing
boys.
them."
I thought we were boys. What the fuck?
Right. So, of course, Balaam is like, "Yo, I told you I can only say what Yahweh puts in my mouth." Well, he says the Lord.
So, you know what? He's probably been going to the Oracle. Well, The Oracle in the Matrix, too. You used to go to her for knowledge because she could see things you couldn't see.
Okay.
Right? So, I mean, obviously Balak was known to Balaam and probably to everybody that he's a window into God. He's probably never heard, like, no from him. Like, God said, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, because he's still alive, his people are still alive, so everything must have been going good. This may be the first time that he ever was told no by this Oracle.
Here's what's really going on. Remember Ghost?
Yeah.
You remember Ghost?
Do you remember us watching it together?
So do you remember Whoopi Goldberg was like the charlatan, right? She wasn't really a medium.
Yeah. Loved her.
Right?
Yeah.
Until Patrick Swayze showed up, and then she really was a fucking medium.
She was an Oracle.
Yeah, that's what this guy is.
She wasn't a medium, she was an Oracle. Well, I guess she was a medium.
This guy fucking Balaam, right? He had the reputation for like being an oracle, right? But he'd never met Yahweh. This is his first time meeting. This is his first like actual like communication with Yahweh.
Did you hear about the short psychic that escaped from prison? They're looking for a small medium at large. I'll see myself out.
So, what do you think about my theory that I just mentioned?
What was your theory?
All right. So let's move on to Balaam's second oracle.
What was your theory? No,
it doesn't matter anymore. I'm ready to move on to Balaam's second oracle. So Balak said to him, "Come with me to another place from which you may see them. You shall see only part of them and shall not see them all, then curse them for me." So Balak's whole plan is, I brought this fucking oracle here to curse the Israelites. He blessed them. Maybe if I take him to another place, he'll curse them.
That's reasonable. Maybe he's like, yo, dude, you don't understand. Maybe you need to get
let me show you these. Let me show you these dirty motherfucking Israel. You've been looking at like the clean Israelites. Let me take you to the ghetto.
That's a bad example.
Yeah,
that
right.
I'm showing you. Yeah.
Like you've only seen You've only seen
People
like
weaving.
the secular Israelites. Let me take you to the Hasidic section of town.
They're playing ukuleles or what's that?
They're ripping necks off of chickens in the street. They're taking public money and running schools into the ground, not teaching kids shit.
That happens?
It's like a big story in the Times this week. Like how New York City, they give money to yeshivas, and then these yeshivas like don't teach like shit that they're supposed to teach.
Well,
like it's just like religious instruction.
Nice. Gangster.
Subsidized. That's what it is. Subsidized. So anyway. So, Balaam is going to curse the Israelites, right?
Absolutely. I mean, he sees them for what they are now.
Here's the funny part. So, Numbers 23, verse 15, Balaam said to Balak, "Stand here beside your burnt offerings while I meet the Lord over there." It's always like over there. He's always got to go somewhere to meet the Lord.
I see where you're going, I think.
So, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying, like, whenever he
You're going
talks to the
somewhere.
Lord, like, he always has to walk away.
Well, let me interrupt. That's fair. Because if he's actually talking to the Lord, Moses and Aaron and all the priests also had to go over there to a anointed place, to a holy place. God couldn't just show up here.
But it doesn't sound like he's making him, like, become holy.
He's just going behind a tree.
And by holy, I mean clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, so he goes off to the side and he talks to, like, the Lord. And then he goes back to Balak. And this is what Yahweh says through Balaam. "Rise, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, O son of Zippor. God is not a human being that he should lie, or a mortal that he should change his mind." First of all, God's changed his mind plenty of fucking times, so let's just get that shit straight, right? Has he promised, and will he not do it? Well, so far, yes. He's made many promises that he hasn't. Yeah. Has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? See, I received the command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot revoke it. He has not beheld misfortune in Jacob, nor has he seen trouble in Israel. The Lord their God is with them, acclaimed as a king among them. God who brings them out of Egypt is like the horns of a wild ox for them. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, no divination against Israel. Now it shall be said of Jacob and Israel, see what God has done? Look, a people rising up like a lioness and rousing itself like a lion. It does not lie down until it has eaten the prey and drunk the blood of the slain. So you can imagine Balak is not happy to hear this, because I imagine that his is the blood of the slain that is being prophesized, and he is the prey that the lions will be feasting upon.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's definitely regretting getting this oracle to come to buy. Like, this is not good news.
Yeah. So then Balak comes up with a great plan. Balak says to Balaam, come now, I will take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God that you may curse them for me from there. Now, okay.
Wait. You missed this part.
Go ahead.
After Balak heard that from Balaam, he goes, okay, all right, do me a favor. Don't curse them, but don't bless them either. Like, let's just leave it even keel. And then Balaam's like, what didn't I just tell you? Like, they're already fucking blessed. There's nothing I can do.
Where's that part?
22, 25. Numbers 22, 25.
22?
Numbers 22, verse 25.
That's last chapter.
You're on 20. I'm sorry, 23. I'm sorry.
23, verse
You
25. Then Balak said to Balaam, do not curse them at all, and do not bless them at all.
Like, basically, let's call it even. Get out of here. Don't do anything. Just let's leave it even.
Right. But then he says, come with me to this place.
Yeah, now you're really going to see the
he
dregs of
wants
society, yeah.
him to curse them.
Now, no, when he's playing a game now, he's like, all right, man, you don't have to do nothing, but just take a look at this. Just, in his head, he's like, maybe this will change his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to explain this to me.
No.
What is this? Because there's been a lot of stupid shit that I haven't understood with the donkey and the angel and people doing what Yahweh says, but then Yahweh being upset with them for doing exactly what he says. What does Balak think? Why does Balak think that taking Balaam to another place is going to bring on the curse?
Maybe he thinks Balaam... Maybe he doesn't quite believe that Balaam speaks for God. He always trusted his insight and his wisdom and his prophecies because it always benefited him. Now he's starting to say something negative, and he's like, well, maybe he doesn't really have but I still want his blessing because I'm superstitious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe he's like, if I can get him to say, oh shit, you're right, I'll bless you and curse them.
Yeah.
Like, everything will be okay. He's grasping at straws. He knows his end is nigh.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I'm not gonna get too hung up on it. Just a lot of stupid, like, nonsensical shit has occurred over the past 2 chapters, and that gets us to Numbers 24, Balaam's third oracle.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Go ahead.
They broke this. They broke the oracles up in a weird fashion.
They did. Well, everything is weird about this book. I mean, what is not weird about this book? It's super weird.
He went to the 4th place, or he's doing that now?
No, they're going to their 3rd place now.
Wait. In each place, he sets up altars and sacrifices rams and bulls and all that.
Yeah, like that 7, like the 7 oxen, the 7.
So there's a lot of animals dying, and probably being like Yahweh's probably telling Balaam, all right, you can entertain him, but you need to produce some fuel for my ship. Like,
right.
It's just like, what are you doing with all these carcasses?
But I mean, again, in fairness, it's Balak that's like proposing all of these new sites. So he's just playing into like Yahweh's hands. Yeah. Every time he proposes a new site, Yahweh's like, score. Right. I get more animals.
So we're on 24, right?
Yep.
All right.
You gonna talk?
Oh,
I mean, I could do it. It's nothing really.
Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, so he did not go to look for omens, but set his face towards the wilderness. He was telling Balak, "Yo, dude, enough, man. How many times I got to tell you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to piss this guy off. I'm doing what he say. Like, you want to kill me and my donkey and all that shit. I don't want, So you got to read it, man. I can't read.
I mean, basically, he does another one of these fucking like blessings. Water shall flow from his buckets. God who brings out,
I see what happened here.
Who brings him out of Egypt, blah, blah, blah. And basically he blesses the Israelites for a third time.
This time, not only he's not pointing out that I'm not going to curse them like he did the first two times. Now he's actually saying, oh shit, they got some nice tents. Oh look, they got some. Now he's talking them up. And I'm wondering if this is just a way for Balaam to tell Balak, yo, dude, man, it's a lost cause.
Yeah. Well, the last lines are, blessed is everyone who blesses you, and cursed is everyone who curses you. And so Numbers 24, verse 10, then Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he struck his hands together. Balak said to Balaam, I summoned you to curse my enemies, but instead you have blessed them these 3 times. Now be off with you. Go home.
Right. Then he said, I said I will reward you richly, but the Lord has denied you any reward. Oh, he was telling the oracle, dude, I would have fucking paid you.
Yeah.
But now this Lord,
Yeah.
this Lord that you're listening to has denied you. Yo, by listening to him, you missed out on these.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, Balaam is like, yo, bro, all I did was what you asked me to do. I spoke with like the Lord, and this is what the Lord was telling me to say.
So do you think like Balak was like, listen, man? Wait. Who are we talking about now? Like, he always mixes up. Oh, do you think Balak just turned to Balaam and said, listen, man, just find me 13,000 votes. I'll do the rest. Fucking bless us and curse them.
Yes.
Yes, you'll get paid and pardoned.
All right. So
I want to say I like the fact that Balaam obviously knows the deal. He's not going to fucking say the wrong thing for any kind of money. Because he knows Yahweh's a crazy son of a bitch.
So that gets us to Balaam's 4th oracle.
I think he's just making it up at this point.
I mean, I don't need... all right. So basically, it's more of this like nonsense, Yahweh speaking through Balaam. And then Numbers 24, verse 17, I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. It shall crush the foreheads of Moab, and the heads of all the Shethites. Edom will become a possession, Seir a possession of its enemies, while Israel does valiantly. One out of Jacob shall rule and destroy the survivors of Ur.
Okay, I want to talk about that. So there was 4 oracles. The first time he goes, look at these people, and he goes, there's nothing wrong with these people. They're blessed. He goes, oh, maybe you didn't see the right people. Look at the people from this angle. No, they're blessed. Okay, look at the people from this angle. And the third time now, the oracle's like, nah, these people are pretty cool, man. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. By the 4th time, he's like, yo, these people are going to fuck you up. Like, take a hint.
Right.
Like, it's, I don't know. It's weird.
And then he gets very specific. Then he looked on Amalek and uttered his oracle, saying, first among the nations was Amalek, but its end is to perish forever. Then he looked on the Kenite and uttered his oracle, saying, enduring is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock. Yet Cain is destined for burning. How long shall Asher take you away captive? Again he uttered his oracle, saying, alas, who shall live when God does this? But ships shall come from Kittim, and shall afflict Asher and Eber, and he shall also perish forever. Then Balaam got up and went back to his place, and Balak also went his way.
Now, basically, is he saying, you think you got it bad? They're not going to be done with just you. There's going to be ships from other countries coming. They're going to fucking lay waste to those ships, lay waste to these people. You're just a stepping stone. Like, I can't help you or the next three peoples that they kill.
Yeah, I think he's basically being told what Yahweh's plan is. But I want you to notice something. So you had just described the 3 different, like, oracles that occurred, right? He gave the first one, and Balak was like, well, look at him from this angle. Then he gave that one. Then Balak was like, well, what about if you look from this angle, right? And then you said, well, these people are pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Now, the oracle is speaking as Yahweh, right? Yahweh is speaking through the oracle. When have you ever heard Yahweh say these are cool people? Because last episode, he was sending snakes into their midst.
Wait. He didn't say cool. I was narrowing down like a word that could describe. The oracle was saying, nah, they got good shit. They're cool. I don't know. No, Yahweh didn't say this. He's probably changing the vernacular, the verbiage to.
Last episode, he was sending poison snakes on the people.
Yo, it's
now they're cool?
It's like this, man.
These stiff necks that he was swallowing, opening up the earth to swallow them. Like, he was going to kill all of them.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like I can talk shit about these people.
I can make fun of my sister. You can't make fun of my sister.
Right. It's like that great scene in the movie House Party when Stab and Eraserhead were in the principal's office or the dean's office. And they were like, well, he called my mama out a hoe and blah, blah, blah. And then Stab's like, ah. And then the principal goes, why would you call his mother a gardening instrument? And for a second, they're on the same level, like, she's the common enemy, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's like when you're fighting back in grade school and, like, a teacher comes. No, we weren't fighting. We're cool. We're chill.
I got you.
I don't think it's that way
You don't
anymore,
snitch on each other in prison.
Right. We'll fight it out.
I mean, that's a clunky analogy, but okay.
Okay, here's another analogy, something I wanted to mention. What's her name? Grenier?
I have no idea who that is.
The basketball player that's being held in Russia.
Yes, okay.
Go
ahead.
Okay, you know who she is.
We all know who she is. Go ahead.
So I see a lot of Facebook posts like, keep her, fuck her, traitor to America, obey their laws, obey those rules. And I'm going to say this to all of those people publicly right now. Yeah, maybe you think she's anti-American. Maybe she is. I don't know. Maybe you think she's this, she's that. You know, I don't know if you'd be saying that if she was like a blonde white girl, but whatever. My vote is she could be all that shit. Russia don't get to decide that. We get her fucking back here, and then if we want to ostracize her and fucking whatever, cancel her, whatever we got to do, we do that. We do not leave one of ours over there because they disagree with us. The rights and freedoms that are entitled to every American allowed her to do what, well, she shouldn't have broken the law over there. I'm just saying. But these people are judging. I'm like, no, Russia don't judge our people. We judge our people. Get her back here. How's that for an analogy?
Do you know there are people in this country serving?
There's people in this country?
Serving.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Dude, we're an hour and a half in. I'm a bottle of wine in. I act goofy at the end of the show.
There are people.
You act retarded. Sorry. Shit, I used that word again.
There are people in this country who are in prison for life for marijuana offenses. I don't hear any of these same people who are defending any of these people in America who are in prison for life for the same offense.
Okay. I am all for that. They should all be released from jail. All of them. Well, first you should give them some job training and get them caught up to like where the internet exists now and all this, because you can't just like take some. You saw Shawshank Redemption. You just can't come out of prison.
My point is, like, you're defending this woman who committed a crime in another country.
See, I'm not. I'm not defending her. I'm attacking the people that are like, let her die over there. No, she broke a country's rules, and that's a punishment. I don't agree because of the
I mean, I don't really hear anybody saying, let her die over there. I hear people like, saying,
fuck her, we don't need her. She's not an American. She's a traitor. She's like this, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's the underlying subtext. But their point is, like, she broke that country's laws, and she is now suffering their justice system.
Wait, the same people that are saying that are saying keep those marijuana offenders in jail. There's nobody.
Okay. So then they're not hypocrites. You're the hypocrite then. Because you should now be like...
See, wait. They're not hypocrites, but I'm not a hypocrite because I'm only talking about this subject. We're having an ad hoc conversation just about her.
Because she's a foreigner and she's an American, so we don't want Americans facing consequences in other countries.
Well, it's like when people say people that protested against the that were mad about the Black Lives Matter protests, and they were like, well, what about them shooting each other, meaning black people, in Chicago? I'm like, okay, both things can be true. Like, that's bad, and so is your protesting the protests. Like, just because I'm mentioning her doesn't mean I'm not right because I didn't mention all these other things. You can't do that. We're only talking about her right now.
My only point is that there are people in this country who are suffering for the same offense that she is committed, and no one talks about that. Everyone's focused on her.
You are absolutely correct. But that doesn't mean, like, I'm not...
Like, Kim Kardashian...
Like, I'm some kind of asshole because I'm not advocating for those people.
No, it's not...
I will. You know what? I'm going to go on the record right now. Marijuana offenses, open the cells.
It's not a matter of being an asshole. It's a matter of, like, it's amazing to me how that never gets brought up. How, like, as soon as... When Russia busts an athlete for having a vape pen... By the way, let me tell you how much of an idiot this woman is, okay? Because she's a fucking idiot. She was traveling in Russia at the start of this war, which is understandable because she plays basketball over there, right? Which makes her fucking crime even that much dumber because she's been playing in Russia now for, I don't know, years and years.
Oh, has she? I didn't know.
Yeah, she's been playing in the Russian league for like years now, okay? She knows someone who can hook her up with some pot. She didn't need to fucking bring pot from America to Russia. She could have landed there and gotten one of her girlfriends or whatever to fucking hook her up with some fucking vape.
Fine. She's an idiot. But I'm going to say this. So we're going to believe the Russian judicial system that she had a microgram of marijuana on her and now she's going to stand trial. She's guilty because Putin's fucking Gestapo says so, but we can produce overwhelming evidence against white rich people, and everybody on the street here will be like, oh, the justice system's fucked up. They're manufacturing lies and everything. So we can keep going down this rabbit hole,
So
man.
your objection to her facing the consequences in Russia is that the Russian legal system is unjust.
Oh, they're just lying. I don't know if she had any marijuana on her. I didn't see the marijuana. Did you see the marijuana?
So this is, but
no,
the American system is just as corrupt.
Dude, the point I was making was, yeah, she might have done whatever she did, but we judge our citizens and we fight for our citizens, whether we agree with what they did or their political views or anything.
What about murder?
It's like,
what if she murdered someone?
That's
That's
a good point. I mean, listen, she violated their rules. If she did, unfortunately, I believe she needs to be subject to their rules.
What about that kid? Remember that kid in Singapore who
got caned?
That got caned for right. What did he do? He
graffitied cars.
Right.
Because apparently in America, graffiti culture, you do not graffiti someone's personal car.
Well, apparently
it's a no-go.
In Singapore, you can't you can't spit gum on the street. If you spit gum out on the street, you can get caned for that too.
Yeah.
So all right. So should we have extradited him back to the United States?
Good point. I don't think I'm opposed to her being jailed for the offenses I think what set me off was the hate on the internet basically saying keep her there. Fuck her.
So
fuck her.
So
fuck her.
So this
No, you know what? You did the crime, do your time, but not fuck her.
So the problem is this. We have lost our ever-loving minds in this country where we no longer can look at any issue objectively and make a fucking argument. We look at who is arguing for the other side And we have started making all of our decisions based on that. And that is why the whole COVID fucking thing was a fucking debacle, Scott. Mm-hmm. This country fucked up COVID so badly. We wrecked our whole fucking economy. We wrecked a whole bunch of shit.
You're going to sit there 3 feet lower than me, by the way, in your fucking beach chair and tell me Joe Biden didn't fuck up the economy?
Yeah. I mean, he certainly did fuck up the economy. He was a neoliberal who, through his fucking endorsement of, trade agreements, through his erosion of union rights, the legislation that he helped craft and shape and pass as a senator, as the vice president.
We can do a deep dive into Joe Biden next time, and I think we should do a deep dive into Joe Biden, by the way.
Oh, gross.
But I want to get back to I don't even know her name. Grenier? Or am I thinking Lori Grenier? Who's on,
it's
like,
not
QVC?
Lori Grenier.
No. Because you better believe we'd be fighting to get her back.
It's not Pam Grier.
Pam Grier. Is it E. Lois?
I don't know.
Whoever, the chick over there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, these people want her to stay and face the music, not because of the crime she committed, because half of them
Brittany Griner.
Okay, I was close. They want her over there because she disagrees with their politics.
I understand.
So you want her to be a political prisoner.
Well, she was like one of those like kneel during the national anthem.
No, I know what she was.
Yeah.
But I know what she
was.
was.
That's their problem with her. All right, so go ahead.
So I'm going to say this.
So you want her back to fuck those people, not because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, fuck. Now you're doing a deep dive into me. I can stop and face myself.
Your view on it is reactionary.
I want her back. Let me back up. Let me take a breath. I want her back because I believe her offense. Who gives a fuck? I understand she violated their rules and justice has to be played out in their country. I understand and respect Russia's laws and that she violated them. But I want her back because she's an American citizen. And I think the laws are ridiculous.
But the laws are ridiculous here.
Yes, but she's in the news, so we're talking about her right now. I can apply this same feeling towards everybody that's incarcerated in America for the same reason.
I'm just saying she's not going to face any kind of different punishment than she would have in like Alabama if she was caught with like marijuana.
I saw Air Force One. Prisons in Alabama are nothing like the gulags in the Soviet Union.
Is that Air Force One or is that Con Air?
I never saw Con Air. No, Air Force One, when they had to release the general of the prison.
All right. So anyway.
I don't know.
So, I mean, again.
I'm just saying, let's not fucking persecute her because she kneeled for the national anthem.
And I'm saying, let's not turn her into a martyr simply because the other side doesn't like her.
That's fine. That's fine. I will take a more moderate approach towards her situation, but
I mean, it's just, look, ultimately this is the thing. That's something to like notice in modern day life. When you start forming an opinion about like a hot topic, are you forming that opinion based on a chain of logic, or are you forming that opinion as a reaction to other people and knowing what their ideology is?
Yes, I probably, if I didn't see the hate directed towards her, I probably would have been like, she violated a law in that country. We got to see how this plays out. I hope she does it right, but you broke a law. I don't believe I don't know if she did or not because I don't trust those people.
Oh, she definitely fucking.
Of course, she probably did.
Well, she says she did. She did. Look at her. She's a fucking pothead. Come on.
And then Russell, you can't say ultimately because I can go even deeper. Maybe if we fucking paid our female athletes a living wage, she wouldn't have to go to Russia in the first place.
That's nonsense, too.
No, that's nonsense because you say it's nonsense.
What do you mean pay our athletes a living wage? Explain.
I mean, pay the women's soccer team the same as the men.
Do you understand?
Just did that, right? They just did that?
Yeah. Do you understand why athletes get paid a lot of money?
Because they generate a lot of money.
Right. Do you know?
I get it.
Can you name one player on The Liberty? You know who the Liberty is?
I can't name any basketball players except for like LeBron.
Okay. Well, the Liberty
Kobe.
are the WNBA
RIP.
New York team.
I know who they are, but I don't watch basketball, so I don't know.
Nobody watches.
I can't name a single player on the New York Giants.
All right. Well, let me put it this way. There are people who watch. Everyone who does watch basketball couldn't name a single player because the arenas are empty. And by the way, that's not on me, and that's not on you.
No.
You know who it's on? It's on women. Go and fucking support women. Don't fucking sit here and tell me, these women deserve to get paid the same. Blah, 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 blah. You know who deserves to get paid the same? Serena Williams. Women who play tennis. You know why? Because people give a fuck about going to tennis and watching women play. You know what people don't give a fuck about? They don't give a fuck about going to watch WNBA players. You know how I know? Because I've seen the fucking arenas empty.
Agreed.
I've seen the TV ratings empty. They're not owed anything.
Agreed. I'm only focusing on the American soccer team. You know, that was like so good for so many years, and we know their names.
Right.
Not right now. 2 hours ago, I knew their names, but that I could see parity.
Right.
But you're right. If you don't fill the stadiums, you don't sell the jerseys, you don't sell anything. You're not in the Wheaties box. No,
right. That's where money comes from.
I get that. So no, my blanket statement of I was just being hyperbolic.
Let me tell you something,
talking
Scott.
about
By the way, if your earning potential in your 20s and 30s took you to another country for, let's say, 6 months at a time so you can earn a 6 or 7 figure salary for those like 6 or 7 months that you played, everyone should be so unlucky in their life.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, you get paid $1 million to play basketball?
I don't cry for any of these bitches that go to like
play
Italy.
That's the problem right there. Why are they bitches?
It's just a figure of expression.
Oh, okay.
It's a figure of speech.
From you?
All right,
from a white man that's in power.
These fucking broads. All right?
These chicks over here.
By the way, let me tell you something about this white guy. Okay? You and me, we wind up in a fucking car accident or like our tire gets blown out in the middle of the night on a highway in Alabama and some Klansmen come and pick us up. Why don't you ask them if I'm a white guy?
Forget the Klansmen, the police with our New York license plate.
So I'm hardly white.
You know what? I'm glad I have a shaved head in that case. Like I would have been like, yo, he's Jewish.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Peace.